All right, people. So, our next and final review of the day is going to be for the film Scream 7. Scream 7, which has received a lot of scrutiny there before this movie even came out. A lot of controversy kind of going on. The fact that they got rid of Melissa Barrera for this movie there. We talked about it just beforehand because she's been a vocal supporter there of Palestine. There was a whole clashing with the studio. She ended up dropping out of the movie and then, well, they ended up firing.
Jenna Ortega followed suit, leaving voluntarily. Chris Landon left, who was originally supposed to direct this. He left for creative differences and, in support of both Melissa and Jenna.
Yeah. So that left them kind of like, what are we going to do? The studio. So they spent we talked about the article beforehand, $500,000 they had to do to spend on rewriting this movie. Big thing about the last movie was they didn't have Neve Campbell in it, who's been in all these movies. And they didn't want to pay her the money, but I guess now they're like, well, fuck, we really need you now. So for this movie, they ended up paying her $7 million reportedly. They ended up doing that with her. And so with this whole new script, whole new idea, Neve Campbell's back. What do we have here in Scream 7? What's the premise of this? Well, you have it where kind of same old shit. You got Ghostface Killer's back. Ghostface Killer's killing people in the town. You have the killer who wants to, kill Sidney Prescott, but not Sidney Prescott anymore. Sidney Prescott Evans. Shows she's married now. She's got a daughter, a bitchy, bratty teenage daughter there in Tatum.
As you are.
As most of these teenagers tend to be nowadays, who's played by Isabel May there, Daily Wire fame, Isabel May.
Daily Wire, and more recently on Landman and on one of the Yellowstone spinoffs.
Gotcha. So yeah, it's kind of set up here. If you've seen one Scream movie before, you will be very familiar with this one kind of going on here. The list of friends that the daughter has are suspects. They're trying to investigate who's behind the mask. Everything like that.
And this movie is one of the most frustrating things because this is directed by Kevin Williamson, who was one of the elder statesmen of this franchise. He wrote the original 2 movies. He wrote the 4th one. He has been a producer on the other 2, on 3 and the 5 and 6, and he's stepping in the director's chair. And it feels like he forgot what made this franchise special.
It felt like when Shane Black directed The Predator, and it was kind of ended up being the worst one in the franchise. And I do think that this one is the worst one in the franchise.
Yeah, it's like congratulations, Scream 3. You're no longer the worst by default. Because Scream 3 at least had the decency to be at least a halfway decent slasher movie. This movie, it is a nothing burger of like nostalgia slop. And it completely forgets everything that made this franchise charming. It's like the cast, everybody feels like they're just phoning it in. All of the characters are just meat for the body count. And the worst part of this is the fucking killer reveal. Because with at least 5 and 6, say what you will about those characters had at least some interaction with the main cast prior to going on the killing spree or prior to them becoming suspects.
Yeah. And we're
the fuck were these people?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. The opening kill is kind of meaningless, really, in this.
Yeah, it's in the opening kill, you see it in the trailer. It's Jimmy Tatro from theater camp, and he's been on in a lot of stuff, and Michelle Randolph, and they have nothing to do with the main cast at all.
Yeah, it would have made more sense for McKenna Grace to be the first kill, since she's kind of a more named person, and people and she has a connection to the people in the movie. Yeah. So with this, why is this the worst movie in the franchise, and why do I say that? I mean, this movie, like I said, if you've seen a Scream movie, you've kind of seen this one before because it really wants you to remember the other Scream movies. It
Mhm.
wants you to harken back
It
and reference and remember those and nostalgia and member
yeah,
berries to it.
and let's clarify. Both 5 and 6 are also guilty of that in some way as well. But those were also kind of commenting on the state of horror at the time with, 5 that was talking about, requels, that was poking fun at the tropes of those in, intelligent and ways that made sense for its stories. 6 was also doing that, but it was using it for the purpose of story and kind of setting up character motivations. Here, it is just nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It's like they drop a fucking musical cue when Sydney's daughter Tatum walks in wearing the jacket she wore in Scream 2.
She gets triggered by a jacket. Like it's like it's just a jacket. Like, okay. Sure. And like, hey, if you're a big Scream fan, don't you remember that famous jacket she wore? Like, okay, sure, I
Do you
guess.
remember the like one throwaway way moment when they said that Tori Spelling was cast as Sydney in the Stab movies?
Yeah.
This
So
this
it's
movie, it is everything that they were making fun of in Scream 5. This
uh
is the movie I was afraid 5 was going to be.
mm. And you're right. I mean, 5 and 6 are a lot of that of like,
Mhm.
Easter eggs and nostalgia and harkening back to those movies. And I'm actually just rewatched 5 again. And I was like, okay, yeah, it does have a lot of that. But at least it has, I think, somewhat of kind of fun characters there or interesting characters a little bit. Like it seems like none of these Scream movies have that deep of characters. They're not all that deep. But in this
And
movie,
yeah, the
uh
characters in the Scream movies, besides at least the main 3, they are kind of tropey by nature.
yeah.
But there's always something more to that the actors are bringing to it than what's written on the page.
Mm.
Here, they're giving us nothing.
And you got some decent acting, like McKenna Grace, like I said, she's in this. She's one of the friends of Tatum. Sydney's daughter in this. You have also Asa German there, who
Mm,
people might know. He's the guy from the boys spinoff, Gen V.
mhm.
He's in that. He's good in that. And they're just kind of they're nothing more than just kind of types. They're just like weird kid, popular girl, quirky
The Black
girl,
Friend.
the quirky black friend. It's like that's it. It's like okay, and who was that? Let me see if
Oh,
I can
that
find.
was Celeste O'Connor from Madam Web.
Oh, okay, that was her from it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and
And
you have,
yeah,
Sam Wrecker, who's, like, Tatum's boyfriend, who's, like, was very clearly going to be the killer in, like, an earlier draft of this.
who he's the classic good boyfriend, great
Mm,
boyfriend guy. It's like okay, and the movie, even though it's an hour and 54 minutes, it feels like it doesn't even really give you enough time to kind of even guess who the killer is because
mhm.
some of these people get dealt with so early. It's like, oh, okay, I guess they're gone, so I can't even do anything about that. And I can't even guess them as the killer, so it's kind of like that's kind of pointless.
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
this movie fails as both a slasher and a whodunit, which I think are both the hallmarks of of good to great screen movies.
yeah. Now, is the stuff with the AI, is that a spoiler to say that the stuff with the AI or no?
Uh, yeah, it kind of is,
Okay, I'll
right?
wait to.
Because they've announced that there were going to be like actors from the past reprising their roles, but how they do it is just the most egregious and lazy thing I think I've ever seen.
Okay, so I won't say that. But yeah, some people do that. And you mentioned when they do the reveal of who the killers are, it's not even really a WTF. It's more like a WGF of like who
It's like
gives a fuck. It's like who care like who fucking cares who these people are. It's like it's the most random mixed mashed motivation for why they're doing the things that they're
yeah, you
doing.
you can tell that this was like lazily cobbled together, rewritten to death. It's like
Mm,
this felt like watching a writer strike movie.
damn. Yeah, and the other writers on this movie, do you know if they've written
Yeah,
other
Guy yeah, so the story credit is, Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt, who I think both of them worked on, Scream 5 and 6.
Okay.
And Guy Busick, he's worked with pretty much all of Radio Silence's movies. He's written, Ready or Not, the 2 Scream movies, Abigail, and he's coming back for, Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Mm,
And
gotcha.
he also co-wrote Final Destination Bloodlines.
Okay. I like Bloodlines. I like that movie. I
Mm.
like Final Destination. So, I mean, like this thing's probably been rewritten to hell, all these different things taken out, put back in, and had to do it. But like you said, at least like 5 and 6, it's trying to be more commentaries, like these Scream movies are on horror movies.
Yeah.
This one isn't. It just seems like
Yes.
okay, we're just doing a plain slasher flick.
Yeah, Scream, what separates it from other slasher films, what separates it from Friday the 13th or Halloween or any pick a slasher movie, they always felt special because they were commenting on the tropes of the genre at the time. The original trilogy, slasher movies, sequels, like a trilogy of films, uh, Scream 4 that was talking about like remakes, torture porn. 5 was like discussing requels and elevated horror and doing that intelligently. And even Scream 6, it was talking about like true crime and like how Redditors will like go wild with conspiracy theories. And here it's talking about like AI, but doing it in the most lazily and insulting to both mine and I think the audience's intelligence.
Mm, yeah. Doesn't have any good kind of refrain. We see kind of AI now, all these kind of slop movies, Mercy, we just talked about. There, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. That had a
Mm,
commentary on that as well, but that was a good movie. That actually was pretty
mhm.
good. Yeah. The only thing about, I mean, some of the kills are kind of decent.
Yeah,
There,
but in other Scream films, I at least cared somewhat about the characters that were being killed.
mm,
Or like the chase scenes and the like suspense prior was like well done. And here that's not the case. I couldn't give a fuck about any of these kids that get killed in this movie.
true.
And
Yeah, I
it's like
didn't.
it's like I think for my money, this might be the goriest Scream film, which is kind of hilarious because like Neve Campbell and Matthew Lillard were complaining in interviews about how gory 5 and 6 were, which congratulations, you're in the goriest one.
Yeah, it has one of
Ugh.
my favorite kills of the series where I mean, it's very fucking improbable what this person's able to do. So this Ghostface is able to pick somebody up by their head and put them on like a beer dispenser. It's like,
And it's like and it's a kill that makes no sense when you consider who Ghostface is in the movie.
yeah, I mean, but I mean, these movies, I know they always have it with the Ghostface. Like once you put on that
Yeah,
mask,
you
like all
put
of a
on the
sudden,
yeah, it's like you put on the hood and suddenly 5-0 Mikey Madison can like pick up and gut David Arquette.
you get super strength and durability, and you know what I mean. Like all this shit kind of go with it. So yeah, sure, why
It's like
not?
the Scream movies, they all cheat in some
Yeah,
way, but at least when the previous films cheated, they were at least fun to watch.
yeah. So there's really not much to recommend about this movie, unfortunately. I mean, if you're a
There's
big
nothing.
Scream
There's
fan,
nothing. For as, like, big a deal as it is to get, Neve Campbell back as, Sidney in this feels like her worst performance in this. It was like, as, like, much as hard as she is trying, there's, like, nothing to the lines that she's given. It's like her face is, like, it almost feels like she's barely capable of emoting for this film. And,
um,
like, for, like, the kind of sweet scenes of, like, between her and Joel McHale in this, who plays her husband, it's like, "I don't know this fucking guy.
mm.
Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, I was wondering about the timeline of that because okay, so
Yeah, because like, they imply in Scream 5 that she ended up marrying,
Patrick
Patrick
Dempsey
Dempsey's character
from Scream 3, right?
who was also named Mark, but
Yeah,
I guess Dempsey read this script and said, "Nah, I'm good."
I don't need the money that bad. Like, I'm good. Yeah, I don't need the money that bad. Yeah, so because like yeah, I thought it was implied that maybe Patrick Dempsey was the guy who was a character from Scream 3, right? He was in 3. But I guess there's another Mark she's with. And then as far as the age of the daughter, so when are they saying she had kids?
He
Like,
Yeah, they're saying that, Tatum is 17, and if this is taking place in present day, she would have had her in 2008.
yeah, okay. So I guess that kind of works out because I remember in
Well, Scream
Scream,
7 came out in Scream 4 came out in 2011.
yeah, in 2011. So I don't. I don't know.
Uh,
Sure,
who
sure.
fucking knows? It was like we're putting more thought into this than the fucking writers of this movie.
Um, yeah. So, I mean, even if you're, I think I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like a major Scream fan or anything like that. Or I'm like a diehard fan. I think you would consider yourself like a diehard fan, wouldn't you?
Very much so. We talked about it when we talked about the first Scream. Scream is like one of my all-time favorite horror films, and I think it's like up until now been this Evil Dead and Child's Play have been the most consistently good horror franchises. And Scream, each sequel I feel like has always had something to say about the state of horror, has always been like well-made slasher films, really interesting and like engaging whodunits.
Mm,
And watching this, I couldn't even bring myself to feel angry. I just felt empty leaving the theater. It was like
mm,
I like knew deep down that this was going to be bad just from like all of the horrific rewrites, how Spyglass handled the situation with Melissa Barrera and letting her go, how they, let go of radio silence, how they like basically bullied Chris Landon out of doing this. At least all directors who had some kind of sauce or sense of style to them that could have made at least a good hypothetical Scream 7. But no, we don't
mm.
get to have nice things in 2026 anymore.
We get to have your favorite movie franchise team up with a betting app, Kalshi. So we get to have that.
And
Uh,
all I could think of leaving the theater was that I'm glad that Wes Craven isn't around to see this because he would be ashamed of what this franchise has become.
uh, we're gonna give a rating and we're gonna get into spoiler review. So what will be your rating?
Fuck this movie.
Wow.
I have never felt I know I'm like very hyperbolic on stream, but I'm some of that is character. Nah, I mean this shit. Fuck this movie. Fuck Spyglass. And honestly, fuck Kevin Williamson for agreeing to this shit.
Mm, damn. Um, yeah. I mean, I gotta be right there with you. I gotta give it a waste of fucking film as well. Like I said, this is the worst in the franchise. There really isn't a lot to recommend
It
here.
it
Uh,
it is the one Scream movie that has nothing to say, and it says that nothing badly.
the killers aren't good. It's not a great reveal there with that. The characters in here aren't very good. The old characters, the new characters, they aren't very good. Um, yeah, I mean, again, it's same old shit. It's same old shit, but done even more poorly than the last few times they've done it. With that there. So, and also just the numerous dumb decisions in this movie too that kind of happen. Again, it feels like you said, the movie that Scream 5 was making fun of.
Mhm.
And they think by saying it in the movie, like having Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown, who are the two of the only newer people from the
Mhm.
newer kind of trilogy they were doing, to come back in this movie. To mention like, well, it's nostalgia, you know what I mean? It's that. And they mentioned it's just like Jamie Lee Curtis and Halloween. When you see how those fucking movies went after the first reboot Halloween movie, that shit tanked fast there and went out
Eh,
sad.
I'm I'm kind of a defender of kills and ends, but I don't disagree.
So yes, I guess this is her Sidney Prescott. This is her Halloween ends. Then this is her version of that. Terrible end to this whole franchise. I had started off with a little bit of promise with
Mhm.
5, and I don't love 5 like that, but
Mhm.
it started off with a little bit
Yeah,
more promise.
5 is I think a good to great Scream film, and I loved 6. I'm on the record how much I love that movie.
Yeah. So, 2 waste of films
This
for
is I know Mercy I said was my original worst film at 26 so far. This takes the cake.
Mm, yeah. So, we're gonna get into our spoiler thoughts on this, about what happens, the killers, and kind of explain a little bit more our dislike of the movie.
Yeah,
Um,
so so one of the things that leaked online was that Matthew Lillard, he was reprising his role as Stu Macher in this movie, and he's AI.
it's a deep fake. So the killers in the movie use a deep fake, and they keep trying to play in this movie like, oh shit, could Stu really be alive? It's like
Mhm.
for not a moment you ever think like, no, this he's not
There's
fucking.
not one moment in this movie where you buy it.
but I don't know. Maybe it's like I did kind of maybe go like, well, maybe are they that stupid to even do that to bring
It's
them
like
back to go like, are
that
they gonna
feels like
fully jump the shark?
that feels like the kind of hacky decision that this movie would go for. And honestly, I wish they would have done it because that would have at least had some kind of balls to it.
So yeah, so that's how Matthew Lillard is able to be brought back in this.
And
Is
and,
that
and it's
is
not just Matthew Lillard. The killer from Scream 1. It's Laurie Metcalf, who's reprising her role as Nancy Loomis, Scott Foley, who's reprising Roman Bridger, but they're all like deep faked to their age today,
yeah,
which makes
which
no sense.
yeah, I didn't really get that part. That's one of the, I was like, yeah, I mean, I didn't really get that too much, but okay. Um, so there's that. Let's start at the beginning of the movie. You mentioned the first kill.
Mhm.
That's where this movie's kind of go off because like the first
Yeah.
kill, typically in a Scream movie,
Yeah,
is supposed to be
traditionally, it's like the biggest name that they could get at the time. Drew Barrymore at the time, uh, uh, Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps in Scream 2. And, in Scream 3, not as big a name, but at least relevant to, the cast of characters. It was Liev Schreiber as Cotton Weary. His character bites it in the opening of Scream 3.
yeah. So typically in Scream, it's supposed to be where it relates to the group of people. Like it's supposed to like set off an alarm.
It's a character that matters and is supposed to like alert the main
Yeah.
cast that something is going wrong.
Right. Like, oh shit, he's back. Ghostface is
Yeah, but
back.
in here, the kill happens in Woodsboro, and and Sidney doesn't even find out about it until like 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. And like I said, some random people there. They're doing like Stu Macher's house.
Is
Has
an
turned it.
Airbnb, which
Yeah.
actually happened in real life.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, they took the house from the original Scream and they took it and turned it into an Airbnb.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, there you go. So yeah, so that kill happens, and then the killer burns down the house. And so you see that. So, almost maybe a metaphor for the movie there, the franchise, kind of maybe. So Ghostface comes back, starts the killings, attacks Sidney, her family, and then the whole thing about her and her daughter. The contention is that her daughter go like, I want to learn more about you. You're hiding all your trauma, and I want to be badass like you. I want to be the fighter that you were, and that's
Yeah,
kind of
I
the
want to
main
be
thing.
like you, Mom. Bitch, you get your wish.
And when the one Ghostface attacks him, they end up killing him right away. Gail Weathers comes in her car and runs the dude over. And they trace him down. So this movie does something where there's 3 Ghostface killers instead of just being the typical 2,
Mhm.
or rare 1 that they do. And then they're trying to trace down that and kind of find the evidence. And they kind of do all the typical things of like, okay, gather the suspect scene of like all her friends and investigate them. They do that a little bit. Then Ghostface attacks them, and you're trying to figure out again who's the killer. But again, they
Yeah,
get killed.
you start playing the process of elimination game, but the characters die before that even has any chance to like be interesting.
You can't even really play the game because like McKenna Grace, she dies right away. She dies within the first 30 minutes of the movie. And then also I guess this goes into the logic of, I don't want to get too much in nitpicking of it, but it's like, how sharp is this fucking blade that he's able just to stick it up like right there, and it hurt, like she's able to slice her and then all her guts just come out like that.
Mhm.
Like I get it's, I mean, whatever. Maybe I'm nitpicking in that sense, but it's like,
There's momentum from like the pendulum, which I think is like the closest thing this movie has to a cool kill.
yeah. And it's like, how tall is that person supposed to be that they're able to reach all the way up there and get her at that angle? But okay, I guess sure. So that happens. Yeah, you can't even do that, pray the process of elimination because everybody dies so fast
Mhm.
in this movie. And then when you learn out who the killers are, it's like I say it's a WG of like who gives a fuck because it's like so random who even the
Mhm.
killers are.
Yeah, it's like, the killers are Ethan Embry, who like is an employee at the mental hospital where the one Ghostface who died, where he escaped from, and is just there to be a red herring for like, is Stu Macher alive?
Yeah. He's the guy, he's the orderly there. And then he teamed up with the mother of one of her daughter's friends. which is that actress. What's her name
Yeah,
again?
that's Anna Camp from the Pitch Perfect movies and was just in the final season of You.
Okay, yes, her. So she tells, of course, like all these movies, once they do the final showdown, they have to do the rant of where they explain why she's doing this. So her thing is the motivation behind her is that she killed her husband. She was inspired by Sidney Prescott reading her book, What Out of Darkness, to
Mhm.
kill her husband. Then she had a mental breakdown. So then she checked herself into a mental institution, and that's where she met the orderly guy and then the
Mhm.
other person. I don't even what's his name? I don't even fucking
Th
remember the dude.
That
Uh,
character barely has a name.
Kyle or something or like that?
Carl.
Carl. Then that's when they meet again. They all bond over their shared love of Sidney Prescott and the Scream murders and all that stuff like that. So they all bond over that. So that's when they concoct this whole plan to do this. And then she wants to kill Sidney Prescott in front of the daughter so the daughter can become the new Sidney Prescott. The trauma can be passed down to her and she can be the new final girl. Why necessarily? I don't know why that would be
Yeah,
beneficial
it's
to
like
her.
what is setting Anna Camp off is that Sydney didn't show up in Scream 6. That's like
Yeah.
the whole like reason for like this like new batch of murders.
And I guess it like bringing in like this series is known for the meta stuff in here is because they constantly talk about like we
Mhm.
really missed you in New York, Sydney. Like, oh man, you should have been there in New York City. And I guess it's trying to like angle to the fans, like, oh, the fans
Yeah,
wanted to see.
no, Scream 6, we saw the movie. It was kind of awesome. We didn't need Sydney.
Yeah. I mean, people remarked about how it was fucked up Neve Campbell didn't get her money, that you
Mm,
didn't pay her. That
yeah.
was that, but when we saw the movie, it's kind of like, okay, I mean, it was good. I
Okay,
thought it was
yeah,
good.
this cast has some fucking juice.
You know, like I understand them being in the fifth one and
Mm.
like, okay, you gotta,
Yeah,
help them
5
along.
yeah, 5 is about passing the torch, which I guess this new era of Hollywood refuses to do.
Yeah. But it's like, no, we gotta hold on to it. We gotta keep it, gotta keep the
Mhm.
reins though. We can't let it go.
We gotta
Um
keep Daddy Netanyahu happy.
so that's kind of their motivation there. So and then somebody mentioned also that I want to get your take on this,
Mhm.
that they kind of throw a dig at Melissa Barrera. Do you think they do that with the McKenna Grace scene? Maybe.
Uh,
You know what scene I'm talking about?
which scene are you talking about? I just saw this last night, and I'm already kind of like blanking on what you're talking about.
The scene at the when she's doing the play and she says like,
Oh.
"Oh, I'm not a diva, but I can be one." Some people were, I guess, thinking
Yeah,
that that was maybe
uh,
a shot at Melissa
that
Barrera, maybe.
possibly that feels like a stretch, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of wondering. I was like, if that's what that's supposed to be, I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't feel like it really was it. I don't really know, but
That feels like a stretch.
yeah. But yeah, so that was that. But yeah, so that's her kind of motivation there. And then also the orderly he drops his LinkedIn information, making sure that everybody
Yeah,
knows
it's
that.
like yeah, just to make this fucking AI subplot make it relevant to this Ghostface because like not 20 minutes before like when we're doing like Ghostface is attacking, but Tatum looks at her boyfriend's laptop and sees like test footage of the AI Stu and her boyfriend looking very much like a serial killer,
Yeah.
and then he morphs into Stu.
Yeah,
It's
it'd
like
be what
any other movie, that would be the Ghostface reveal. That would
yeah.
make sense.
Cause like he's saying things like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Sydney. It's like, why would you say that if you were just doing like a test?
If you're
If you were
just
just
doing a test run, you don't act like that.
yeah, like and he's got his laptop also like it's kind of cracked open almost all the way. So it's like
It's
he
like
don't even
you're asking somebody to crack that open.
yeah. So I was just like, okay, sure. But yeah, yeah, maybe in an earlier draft.
It's like, look, every mystery movie in some way, and Scream is especially guilty of this. Every Scream movie kind of cheats with like the rules of logic and with like how physics work and how like mysteries and whodunits work. Every Scream movie does it in some way or another. But what works in those movies is those are at least fun to watch and at least can make sense in context of like the logic you are presenting in the movie.
Mm,
Here, not so much. Not at all.
mm. Um, yeah. So, I mean, the killers don't really make a lot. The motivation is incredible. Probably the weakest I've seen out of all these movies. Is
Mhm.
really doesn't it make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
The
people were dogging on the reveal in Scream 6, but those they at least had like some personal stakes to it. That would I believe the performance more in that movie than I do here.
yeah.
As
Um,
talented as Anna Camp is, she can't sell this bullshit.
yeah. Um, so that's it. And then these people, it's like I guess it's like consistency. I mean, people can survive a lot of stabbings. I mean, that's
Mhm.
not uncommon. Like that can happen. You can get stabbed a lot and
Yeah,
survive.
it's like
You know.
it's like people were dogging on 6 with the Mason Gooding's character. He gets stabbed like 11 times and has
Yeah.
like one of the most brutal scenes. And yeah, he still survives the movie. And,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny to think is like, wow, these ghost faces missed every vital organ.
They turned his ass into a pincushion. They were just both
They miss everything. But yeah, and it's been documented, people have survived attacks like that and worse. And
Yeah.
so it's possible.
It's possible. And that's Joe McHale. He gets stabbed a bunch of times and he's
And
still
left for dead for, I'm presuming, several hours.
yeah, and he's able to make it. So I'm like, okay, sure. I guess that's kind of plausible, I guess.
Suspension of disbelief only goes so far.
Um, yeah. So that was Scream 7 for what it was.
Yeah, fuck this movie. Fuck Scream 7. Put the Bone Temple back in theaters.
Right now,
Or go see Send Help instead. Go see a good horror film.
so I think it's made like 7.8 million as of right now. So
It's the saddest thing. This movie is gonna do well for its first weekend, and it's gonna do well enough to justify an 8th movie.
yeah. So it says right here, so Scream 7 box office collections, Paramount's horror slash flick 8 million in previews, targets 60 million weekend. I don't know if it's going to do 60 million. I don't know.
I think it'll top out, I think, at like 45 or 50, which is like barely breaking even for its budget.
The budget is reported around 40 something million.
Yeah, 45 million on Wikipedia. Which,
Um,
to make a profit on a movie, you basically have to double your budget.
yeah, so it says it's a franchise record in previews, but
Mhm.
I think once word starts getting out, like this is not
Word
very
of
good.
mouth is going to kill this fucking movie. It's going to put the bullet in the head that this movie deserved once they've let go of Melissa Barrera and Christopher Langdon.
Yeah. So this is the highest ever for franchise, 7.8 million in previews there. But I think, yeah, like I agree. I think once word gets out about this, that's not very good. Poor word of mouth is probably gonna crush this movie. Um, and so if they do a Scream 8, would you want to is there anything that can get you back in this Scream 8? Like if there's anything they can do there?
Uh, I don't know, a director with some sauce, maybe like leaving Sydney's character behind, which should have been uh the Otis for Scream 7 if they were going to make it at all. Because when you rewatch Scream 6, that kind of has the perfect ending of the franchise.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, I mean, maybe you take the two twins and you make them be investigative reporters and they go around to place. Like there's new
Mhm.
Ghostface popping up at all these other different places and all that. And they kind of do that type of level of investigative journalism. Maybe. And like you said, you leave Gail behind, you leave Sydney behind, you
Mhm.
leave all these other people behind, and you just have maybe follow them. Maybe. I'd be kind of maybe they do some Scooby Doo shit. Maybe they have their own like crew and they do that. I guess I don't know. I mean something. I mean you gotta change something. You gotta mix this shit up a little bit. I guess. That's the only thing. So what will be your ranking for the Scream movies now?
My ranking for the Scream movies, I would say, the original, that's at the top. Uh, um, the original's at the top. I think 4 is right behind it, then 5, then 6. then 3, and no, 2, then 3, and this is like no. So beneath the Scream 3, there's a 9/11, and then there's this.
For me, I think I did it today. So I'd go Scream, Scream 4, Scream 6, Scream 2, Scream 5, Scream 3, Scream 7 is how I would do it if I was, yeah. That's probably how I'd go.
It was like I've been seeing like the memes of the Deep from The Boys is like Scream 7 now that it's not the worst Scream movie anymore.
Oh man. So yeah, that was the thoughts. Spoiler thoughts for Scream 7 there.
I'm really bummed out. This is a bummer way to start out the weekend.
Yeah. And then Psycho Killer was also bad for you too. Man.
I liked Psycho Killer more than I liked Scream 7. That at least had something interesting in it.
Somewhat. Yeah, somewhat.
Georgina Campbell is good in this, and I liked the actor that was playing the killer in it. I thought he had like cool screen presence at least.
I don't know. He kind of just looked like the Hard Eyes killer to me from that movie. We also had Mason Gooding in it, Hard Eyes.
I actually really liked Hard Eyes.
Yeah, I thought Hard Eyes was fun. Hard Eyes knows what it is. It knows what it is there. All right, people, we're getting out of here.